My name is Destiny, and I wanted to make a video about the intimacy of friendship and discovering that with the tumultuous whirlwinds and high seas of life. I feel like for a while I've wanted close friends, and I'm in a place where I'm growing them, and sometimes they can wade strong and wade or wax a little not as strong. But I think there's still so much hope for someone that's in their 20s, a woman, late 20s, early 30s, even 40s, and for the rest of our lives that we will make friends. And so this is just a little video on finding intimacy in friendships because I recently found that and I realized that I put in seeds to allow the friendship to grow, and I want to give you some of those seeds today. But let me frame the story for you. Basically, a year and a half ago, I moved to the middle of nowhere, Texas, and there are tons of cows and cattle all around. I didn't move to Paris, Texas, but I do think that's a pretty fun movie out on Netflix. However, I moved here and I feel like it was just very challenging for me to make friends, but mostly because the demographics wasn't didn't really support making friends that look like me, and it was like I have to branch out and make friends that don't look like me, and also make friends for the first time based off of what felt like academic vigor or like being ambitious. So making friends based off of ambitiousness, and it's like I think a lot of imposter syndrome set in, and so sometimes or a lot of times it was really hard to work consistently. I didn't put in as much consistent work, and I felt like if I didn't work as consistently as some of the people that I thought would make good friends, then I just wasn't qualified to hang out with them. And maybe that's true. Maybe not that I'm not qualified, but maybe what is the point of putting up so high of performance if it's unnatural to study with somebody or to sit and join a people group? You get what I'm saying? But recently, in the most unexpected way and in the most beautiful, transforming way, I found intimacy within one of my pre existing friendships that I didn't expect before. I think this intimacy came about with a lot of things. um, One, sharing a little bit of private information about me. I don't really post on social media. The point is, I don't post on social, so I don't think there was any real way for somebody to get to know me unless I was divulging a little bit of information in my life. And if you grew up Nigerian American, you probably grew up a little bit superstitious like me. A little bit of a belief kind of in the eyes are watching you mentality. But you grew up a little bit with the eyes are watching you, the walls can see mentality. I definitely think that's the way I've grown up. If I reveal something about me, then it's something someone could take in their personal time of prayer or thoughts and wish bad upon me. So it's like I just didn't want to share anything, and not a fear, but it's I think for me it was a mechanism. It's out of self protection and preservation. But I recently learned I can hear the applause going on. I have recently learned that divulging some information, sharing something gradually and slowly is healthy. But I'm telling you, my life is boring as can be. I spend a lot of my time at home. Um, and so I think that's another thing that inhibited me from having friendship intimacy because I was at home and I didn't really want to go out as much. And it's not just a matter of like not spending because I do spend on Amazon like 24/7. Like the year end of year is coming up and I want to check what my purchases were on Amazon this year if I'm still even using those products because my apartment feels full, like and full of junk, and especially there's like 3 Amazon boxes sitting around kind of empty, so I'm just like what have I purchased? And I need like I can't return anything at this point. Probably I'm past the deadline, but I just need to start donating it because it's just way too much. You get what I'm saying? However, my point is there wasn't much to me, and so the most interesting thing I thought was about me, or at least slightly interesting because I don't do anything, was to share about my romantic relationships. And that clearly, for someone that's believed in this like very African superstition of if you tell somebody something about you, then they can have negative thoughts and not want that to go well for you. But I kind of had to like let that go because I did really want to like get close to someone. And but I'm thankful for my upbringing because it was kind of like we're not divulging everything quickly, we're being a little bit slower about it. So I think point number one that helped me to make some friends recently and to make some closeness of relationships recently was just being more vulnerable about parts of my life. um and sorry y'all, we're losing the sunlight, but hopefully the fall, because it's fall, this warm tone is something that you are enjoying, but I don't think this will be too long anyway. um but something that I also did grow to share was my personal self-doubts and failures. Last year when I was meeting a classmate, they were getting to know them for the first time, which is not the person I necessarily grew close to. But when I was getting to know them for the first time, they shared that they thought I was someone that had things very much together. And I was like, that is the most off thing because I am a mess 250% of the time. But the people that are really close to me, I feel they know how much of a mess I am and that I like to operate in the sense of almost ADHD energy, but I have not found anyone that's willing to diagnose me, so I don't have an official diagnosis at the moment. So there's that. Um, but yeah, personal failures and worries. I think chief one, well, this is not the chief one, but I think one that I shared was that for a long time. Hey, so I started making this video the other week and it was getting dark outside, and I also accidentally disconnected the microphone, so I lost all the audio. But let's jump right back into it. So, the next point I was going to share about creating this intimacy in friendship is sharing personal doubt, especially if you're someone who isn't on social media as much. So this is for the girls that aren't on social media. Sharing personal doubts. I feel like that was one of the key ones to just kind of let people know that I don't think I'm perfect. I have my own things that bother me, that worry me. I'm human too. I have my problems. I want to hear yours. I feel like that was a key to building the closer friendships around me. Another key point, showing up but also staying true to who you are. I think when trying to form a friendship with whoever the person is, if they are a almost gone pro tennis athlete or a social media socialite, like their IG is popping and all that stuff, I think it's easy to want to conform to how you think they perceive the world or even how they seem to perceive the world. You get what I'm saying? You want to act to fit in and blend like them. In reality, I realize it's just so important to show up as yourself on a day by day basis. Like, if you want to be someone's friend and there's that potential connection, and they're also showing you that potential connection, just show up the truest way you can. Don't change yourself. I am the quirkiest girl. I can do the silliest ish. No one has truth or dared me. That is just simply how I behave. I have truth or dared myself, and I'll do the most randomest things. And I don't want to hide my randomness from people that I want to be my friends because I want them to accept me as who I am, and I want to accept them for who they are. And I think the most key and important piece of this friendship intimacy development, trusting Jesus Christ. Like, if you're a believer, if you're a follower, I would say pray to Jesus, to pray earnestly for friendship. In Colossians 4:2, it reads, devote yourselves to prayer, being watchful and thankful. The version of the verse that I'm a little bit more familiar with is, it says, be earnest in prayer. And so earnest is more so, I kind of think it sounds a little bit like honesty or honest, but with a little splash of like what earnest actually is, which means like a continuation. So I think I had to trust Jesus that he would give me the friends that I want, to experience that intimacy of friendship. And when you do have friends that are in Christ, I think it's even more important to share the word, not be a Jesus freak per se, but still be a person with a personality. Share the word, but allow Jesus to bring the two of y'all a little closer together. Yeah, and I think that's what brought about the intimacy that I have experienced in my friendships recently. And I just hope that your friendships are filled with so much love and closeness as well.